What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben. Having some St. Louis coffee. Glug, 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 glug. Hi, BigSquareRoad.com. Too much fun lately. Bitcoin Ben. Doing well on the diet. Keep it up, my friend. It gets better. You'll figure out why you're doing it about 2 days after it's done. And then you'll enjoy it, I swear to God. Anyway, quit being a baby. You can eat more than just rabbit piss, as you keep saying. You can eat anything that's raw, as in real food, grown in nature. Um, but starting Sunday, you're doing the smoothies. So you just take that food and you put fruit in it, and it's like a milkshake. Come on, Ben. No more complaining. Knuckle down, do it. All right, I want to talk about cryptos, but I finally went through the whole Veritaseum response. It is shocking what the SEC was doing with someone who was, uh, like they said, just come to us. We'll help you through this. We'll explain to you, and you explain to us what you're doing, and work with us. And the SEC is just beyond corrupt. They were actively disrupting the Veritasium model during the whole. They absolutely went into the Jamaican Stock Exchange and told them don't do it. It is shocking who these bureaucrats think they are. I'm blown away. And anybody in crypto should be just livid. And I have more information that's scary coming up. But cryptos right now got a bid. Big deal. Behind the scenes, huge deals are going down. It is all happening. We are moving forward. Don't worry. If you're a hodler, dollar cost average. Buy a little here, buy a little there. You're buying today. Especially Litecoin, it's $74. You're buying tomorrow. It goes down to 60 or down to 50. If it goes up to 100 or 1,000, you're buying the next day and the next day. If you're a hodler, you dollar cost average a little bit every day, you're fine. Right? That's the way to do it. And if you've been doing that for the past 9 years, you're extremely wealthy right now. I'm just saying. Don't think for a second that those early days crypto people had it easier. They didn't. And don't think for a second that in 5 years, people won't be looking back at today saying, oh my God, you got in when Litecoin was under $1,000. That's amazing. You must be so happy. Everything is relative. The longer you wait in the crypto game, the longer you hodl, the better off you are. Okay? Cool. So I want to talk about Very. Now, this is not investment advice. I don't know where this is going. But I can tell you there are some things that went down that are extremely disturbing. As in extremely, extremely disturbing. I've been going through the report, the response, Veritasium response, which is great. It counted every single thing. I mean, the SEC basically called Reggie a fraud and Veritasium a fraud, and that he was doing nothing, just stealing money. It's completely ridiculous. But I want to draw your attention to page 15, which is really interesting because they said, "Oh, you didn't even have any kind of offering for the people," and absolutely, the Vadar was up and running, and it was the SEC that was stopping. Here's what happened. This is on it's page 10 or page 15. It's numbered page 10 because there's an intro. But the development of the Vadar software. In the months following Veritasium's initial token sales, the company worked intensively to develop the Vadar platform. This version could use none of the original code from BTC-based platform. They moved from the Bitcoin platform to the Ethereum platform when Ethereum came up because it's obviously a hell of a lot faster. So they had to rewrite the code. We all knew that. Reggie talked about it a million times. Everybody knew that. And the SEC knew it as well. Therefore required a new code base. As a result, Mr. Middleton hired a new set of developers. Veritasium met the production schedule Mr. Middleton had forecast at the time of the initial token sale. By the first quarter of 2018, the Vadar was operational. I remember it being operational in beta. in beta testing by outside users. Indeed, check this out. On March 20th, 2018, Mr. Middleton gave a detailed demonstration of the system to a large number of SEC staff members who attended in person in New York and by telephone from Washington. Mr. Middleton explained how Veri token holders could use the platform to purchase financial exposure to a portfolio of digital assets, borrow tokens, and benefit from the research fed into the system by Veritaseum. That's what they are doing. It is not a security. It is software to facilitate peer-to-peer transactions. At the conclusion of the presentation, the SEC staff did not question the functionality or the utility of the software system. Rather, they demanded that Mr. Middleton stop making the system available to beta testers. Wow. SEC purposefully destroying Reggie Middleton's and Veritasium's offering. Because in the SEC's view, the testers' use of even nominal amounts of Veri tokens required Veritasium to register as a regulated security. Although Mr. Middleton did not agree with SEC's position because he understood that Veri tokens are not securities, he terminated beta testing in deference to the ongoing SEC investigation. So the SEC stopped the VADAR system from going forward. And then they claimed, oh, he had no product. These people are beyond criminal. Later in 2018, Mr. Middleton and Veritasium team began developing yet another innovative blockchain functionality for its software. The system offered for sale digital tokens, such as V-Gold, that represent blockchain-based ownership interest in a specified amount of precious metal. Veritasium bought the metals in bulk, stored them in vaults, and sold tokenized interest in them. Veri token holders received a discount, adding to the utility and value of their tokens. Owners of V-Gold have a contractual right to redeem them back to the company in exchange for physical delivery of their gold or a conditional option to sell the tokens back to the company. It takes out the COMEX. And then the SEC freezes Veritasium's assets so that the SEC is stopping everything about Veritasium from working. And now they're claiming that, oh, it's a con because they don't produce anything that works. That's because the SEC has stopped it, literally in its tracks. But here's the worst of all. The big deal, the number one grand poobah deal that Reggie had touted, we were all looking forward to, was the Jamaican Stock Exchange deal. It was the monster, the mothership deal. We all knew about it. We were all excited about it. Reggie had an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding signed by the principals of the Jamaican Stock Exchange. Let me fast forward here. And we all like, what happened, Reggie? Where are they? Where is it? He's like, they've gone silent. I don't know why. Check this out. And mind you, these are bureaucrats coming in to disrupt and destroy a business. Mr. Middleton approached the Jamaican Stock Exchange with the idea to sell Veritasium's technology, including the utility tokens, to the JSE. After several meetings, the chairman of the JSE Board of Directors entered into a Memorandum of Understanding with Veritasium, under which Veritasium would, quote, sell, lease, rent, or lend the Veritas tokens to the exchange for the purpose of consulting on, advising on, and building a digital asset exchange. That was the mothership. That was the big deal that Reggie had landed when we were good to go. The JSE chairman and its managing director agreed to be photographed shaking hands with Mr. Middleton on a groundbreaking transaction. Understandably, Mr. Middleton made public statements about his success in securing a major business partner for Veritasium. Check this out. Around November 2017, however, JSE stopped responding to Middleton's efforts to move the transaction forward, despite having made significant progress on a binding joint venture agreement. Unknown to Mr. Middleton at the time, SEC representatives had contacted the JSE as part of the SEC's investigation into Mr. Middleton and Veritasium. The SEC has refused, on privilege grounds, to disclose the contents of the discussions with the JSE. The sequence of events, however, strongly suggests that the JSE lost interest in the transaction following its discussions with the SEC, which caused Veritaseum to lose a significant business opportunity. They didn't even tell Reggie that they were going to the JSE. In its brief, the SEC belittles Mr. Middleton's transaction with the JSE because, quote, there was no visible distribution of Veri tokens with respect to that deal. They tanked the deal. Who are these criminals within the SEC? You got to go behind Reggie's back, don't tell him anything, and they're not allowing any of the notes or any of the discussions to be talked about on privilege grounds. It just sickens me, these people. It gets worse, unfortunately. And there's more in this. Great job, Reggie's lawyers. And then they they want Reggie to submit a budget. He submits a budget. They say, you're spending too much money on lawyer fees. The lawyer fees are all going to fight the SEC. These people need to go to jail themselves. But here's what's going to happen. We have a problem. So it was the hearing was initially scheduled for the 22nd, and it got bumped right after the judge who the SEC asked to freeze Veritaseum's assets and Reggie's personal assets. The judge says, no, we're not going to seize Reggie's personal assets, just Veritaseum. The next day, that judge is kicked off the case. The case is bumped till the Monday, the 27th, and a new judge is put on. Here's the statement right here. Cointelegraph contacted the courthouse, wherein a clerk said that the court approved the temporary injunction requiring defendants to show cause on August 22nd. Per court documents, the case was reassigned to Judge William Kuntz II on August 13th. And now it's the 27th. Because the SEC is scrambling. The SEC is sending emails to people begging for testimonials. These people are beyond criminal and they belong in jail. So let's find out who Judge William Kuntz is. Nothing good can happen here, right? Judge William Kuntz, federal judge, state of New York, or District Court, Eastern District of New York, nominated by Barack Obama. That puts a red flag up there. Another red flag. Kuntz was a Harvard guy. Harvard College with an AB in 72, JD from Harvard Law School. We all know how criminal Harvard is. So let's see what he's ruled on. And it's very scary. Again, appointed by Obama. Noteworthy cases. Unvaccinated students may be kept from school. In June 2014, Judge Kuntz ruled that a New York City school system policy for restricting unvaccinated children from school when an illness is present is constitutional. 3 families challenged the policy, claiming that their right to the free exercise of religion was violated when their children were kept from school. Judge Kuntz disagreed, citing a 1905 Supreme Court opinion as precedent. The case found that the government has the right to regulate public health and specifically addresses the right of government to require vaccination. So we got a vax-loving judge appointed by Obama who gets emergency appointment to the Veritaseum. It's just sick. And here's an interesting note that nobody really talked about. SEC chief who pursued actions against ICOs kicked to resign. So the guy who was running all the ICO attacks is now resigning in August. This just stinks to high heaven. It is embarrassing and sad what my country has come to. What do you do? Now, let's talk about this, though. What's going to happen to Veri? So obviously the fix is in as far as the court case. But the fix is in which way? Because the bad guys do want cryptocurrencies to be there because they have a lot of cryptocurrencies. Trump came out and said, "Yeah, I don't like Bitcoin," which means the bad guys like Bitcoin. So it might be that this guy is put in there to say, "Hey, it's not a security," and the ICOs go crazy. Bad guys start making money again because they're hurting for money because Trump's cutting off their forms of money. And obviously, a lot of the Silicon Valley guys are deep state. A lot of the crypto guys, the crypto cabal, I call them, are deep state. Maybe this guy's going to open the door for, if this thing gets thrown out, the SEC has a lot of egg on their face as far as all the other altcoins that they're going to go after. So I don't know what's going to happen. It could go either way. Given that they replaced the judge immediately after he only ruled half of the SEC, they wanted to freeze all Reggie's assets. I don't know what's going to happen. It won't be according to the law, though, I can guarantee you that. The decision's already been made. This whole thing is being rolled out now for a purpose. So I don't know. I'm not selling my Verity tokens. I wish Reggie the best and Veritaseum the best. Keep fighting the good fight. Might come down to some kind of plea deal, pay a fine. When you look at it, they're only looking for $8 million, but does that mean Reggie can go forward with? He's got a hell of a lot more than $8 million. Remember, Reggie owns 98% of all the Verity tokens out there, 97%. We'll see what happens. It's very murky, and but there's a lot of criminality at the SEC. And for anybody who's mad at Veritaseum for not following through, now you know why. It was the SEC stopping the Vadar, getting mad at them for buying gold and silver, even though that was their business model. And then ultimately harpooning the Jamaican Stock Exchange deal, the mother that would have proven that Veritaseum is a software. I'm sick to my stomach thinking about these assholes. Anyway, but that's where we are. One note, today at around 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern time, I'm going to do a live chat. My first solo live chat without Ben. So put your little bell notifications on, like and subscribe and all that. And then it'll be mainly Q&A. And I'll try to figure out how to sort through all the Q&A. Yeah, so if you want a super chat, those are the Q&As. I'll probably go first. Because I'm a capitalist, right? If you're not a capitalist, you're a socialist. That's what I keep telling Amy. You got to charge for stuff. She just wants to give everything away for free. And I go, you're a socialist. Love that girl. Anyway, so 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern, I will be going live chat. And it should be really fun. Ask any questions you want about all these crazy topics we deal with, and I'll try to answer them as honestly as possible. I'm going to get a couple people with wrenches to take out any trolls. Just don't be trolling. If you ask your questions in a polite way, I'll answer anything. If you're looking to disrupt the chat, we're going to delete you for life. All right? That's fair, right? Okay. It's Big Square, roadtour.com. Also, I'll be putting out tomorrow an update on the timeline. So a new timeline on the private road. Really exciting. Really exciting. I'm excited about what's coming because it's coming fast. And so this will be the fifth timeline article video. So make sure you join the private road and the Patreon. This won't be on Patreon. This will be on the private road. And Patreon will get it next week sometime. All right. Anyway, BigSquareRoadTour.com. Talk to you later.